Jermell, thank you for taking the time out of your busy training schedule. Appreciate it. Your September 30 Showtime pay-per-view matchup against Canelo Alvarez is almost 10 years in the making. And it's also the first time in the four-belt era where two undisputed championship fighters will be facing each other. You're essentially the one accommodating to make this happen by going up two weight divisions. Considering where you were both currently at in your careers, did you really believe this fight could ever happen?
Truthfully, I didn't think that this fight would ever happen, but it presented itself and I took it. So it's happening now. Never too late.
Absolutely. You're still in the prime of your career. You're essentially both the same in age. And Canelo has, by the time you head into the fight night, it'll be over 14 months since you last had that impressive stoppage win against Brian Castano in that fight of the year contender. And that 14-month layoff is also the longest one of your career. What are you doing to prevent any potential ring rust?
Just staying sharp. Sometimes some people need that ring rust. I mean, they need the break. I was pushing it for so hard, and I had an injury. There's nothing that I could do about it. But staying sharp, staying on top of my pointers, doing multiple things in the ring, and listening to Derrick James and Juan Guzman and the rest of the team that they provide for us. Everything is great. It shouldn't be any ring rust.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Derrick James, reigning trainer of the year. Canelo has the preceding trainer of the year on his side with Eddie Reynoso. And, Canelo has pretty much seen it and done it all over the last 10 years. Which one of Canelo's wins do you consider his best career victory at this point?
Kovalev was a really good win. He was much bigger than him. He was stronger. And he annihilated him. So Kovalev was a really, really good win, and that I consider Canelo having.
And you're looking to repeat the script and do the same that he did to Kovalev.
It's a possibility, Canelo and our styles are completely different. He's much shorter than me, but he's a little bit thicker than me, so it makes for a good fight.
There's a lot of discussions right now about fighters moving up and down in weight. Even Terrence Crawford is now saying he'll fight you at 168. He wants to fight Canelo at 168. Canelo said he'll fight at cruiserweight and heavyweight. What is for fans who are listening, what is that like to go up and down weight divisions, and what's that body transformation like for you right now?
I mean, it's tough, but it's a task. It has to happen. Sometimes you to make the best fights in boxing. You have to take chances and risks, and you have to do some things, and that's just the nature of this game. And if we want to continue to put on for the sport, because fights like this make the sport of boxing very noticeable and a top-notch thing. And so we have to continue to do these things.
It's a very exciting time. All of a sudden, these dream fights, these super fights that might have been not even a possibility to consider years ago, is now moving forward. Are the days of hiding behind a weight division over? Do fighters have to really step up, step down to make these fights happen? Do you think that's what needs to happen moving forward?
Yeah, that's what's happening. And so one day, boxing will be stuck where the O don't matter. A lot of fighters protecting their O and that and the politics behind it. So, it's no union in the sport, and it's causing people to forget about it.
Exciting times indeed. And
they losing their reputation, on what, and instead of realizing that we are all one big group and organization, and we consider that boxing.
And if you climb up two weight classes and beat Canelo, do you think that makes you pass Terrence Crawford as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter?
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely does. I'm already undisputed. Go beat another undisputed. It's the dream come true.
And let's talk about Terrence really quickly. He's been enjoying his victory lap over the last month after he beat your stablemate Errol Spence. You had a front row seat to that fight, and you've been beefing with him for quite a while. Why do you still think Terrence is beatable, considering his dominance?
He just gotta, I haven't been beefing, like truthfully. Um, he's just feeling himself right now. And he's a top dog. He's moving up in weight, and everybody want to fight the best.
And going back to your previous statement, I know Canelo, if you beat him, there might be a rematch. You might be at 168 for a while. Would you accommodate Terrence Crawford at a smaller weight, or do you see yourself as a 168 fighter moving forward?
Man, I really don't know that just yet. 168 is considerably still kind of like not my weight division because it's not as easy to make 168. I have to gain weight and gaining weight when you're working really hard is really tough. You can easily walk around at 168. So I'm definitely not the naturally bigger fighter. So 168 is not my weight division. I think I would have to see him in a different weight category.
You're at an interesting time in your career because you've been at 154 for over 10 years. You got all the titles. Unfortunately, the WBO had to, do some sanctioning body tricks and take your belt away. And 160 is arguably the weakest division in boxing, and one that your brother is in, and perhaps he might be moving on from either. It seems as if you're kind of in this fork in the road in your career, where to take yourself forward. In a perfect world, what would 2024 look like for you?
Ah, man, I don't know, man. It's really, really hard to answer that one too. Um, I could possibly be challenging Terrence Crawford. I could possibly be back at 154 though, So I can easily make 154. It's not hard. Well, it's not hard. It's probably gonna be harder after this fight. But 2024, I should be definitely some type of way defending my world titles. So the titles that I have at 54, I can't just hold them. I have to defend them or they'll strip me. So I'm just fighting the best.
Well, you've worked very hard to put yourself in this position. You're at the stage of your career where you can reap the rewards. September 30, Showtime pay-per-view. Once you're in the ring with Canelo, talk to me about that moment. What's going through your mind? And it seems as if everything you work for is going to unfold at that moment.
Well, it's almost like everything that I put myself on in all of these career-defining moments all goes out and put it in the ring just that night. So that night will be everything that I worked on for so many years and everything that I worked on for the process and the team and the turn up and everything. Just my whole life will be on the line and dedicated to that one moment, that one night. 36 minutes in the ring with Canelo Alvarez and find out who the best fighter in the world is. And it allowed me to be among some of the greatest fighters in the world once I do beat them. And I get to get my flowers and enjoy my fruits of my labor with a victory over Canelo.
And last one for me, Jermell. Canelo has a big fan base. Perhaps a lot of fans might be watching you for the first time. If they quickly do some Googling, they might see all the headlines you've made, some of the trash statements you've made. I know you left the trash talk, but for fans who don't know who Jermell Charlo is, how would you like to introduce yourself for the first time?
The 154 undisputed champion, one half of the Charlo twins, hard go-getting fighters and good boxing skills and come from a rough, rugged world and willing to take a chance to fight anyone.
Well, it's been a pleasure covering your career so far and looking forward to seeing how it unfolds September 30th and moving forward. Best of luck to you throughout the rest of camp and looking forward to a great night on September 30th.
Thank you. Appreciate it.